You got Bryn versus a Roland. And Stardeath is actually sticking onto the character that he played most recently, which is interesting. There's a lot of times players will have that character that they're going to be going into the set with first every time, and then we'll see players that are switching it throughout characters throughout the tournament, and the one that they had the most success on last is the one they're going to stick on until something happens that makes them want to change.
We'll see how he's able to deal with Baltazar's Bryn. Of course, we saw a fantastic Bryn earlier today coming out from Fiend, with fantastic spear play, solid axe play as well. We just saw Stardeath do pretty good against Wesley's axe, forcing him over onto the lance, but he's been a lance boy. Maybe he just doesn't really focus on the axe very much. Maybe that'll be different if Baltazar is a true axe player.
We are about to find out as we go into this game number 1 of Mammoth Fortress. Stardeath dodging out of the way from what was expected to be a sider, and nicely done. We're seeing the weapon throws that he was trying to do in the last set, this time working as he was able to get a lot of damage on the Baltazar. Dodge through. They're both going for those neutral lights and downlights in opposite directions, but Stardeath just putting out the baseball by the neutral stick as well, keeping Baltazar on his toes.
D-Light side air. Baltazar's in the red. There is still a weapon spawn on stage to give Stardeath the lance after he threw away the sword. Weapon spawn coming straight to Baltazar. I'm telling you, man, people without a weapon in South America have been blessed by the weapon spawns today.
Right, look at that for Stardeath, right? Baltazar's holding left side of stage, and the weapon just comes straight onto the platform in favor of Stardeath. Gets the side air, finishes off the stock, throws it in the air, and then holds onto the lance as he's going to go against the second stock against Baltazar.
Again, a weapon spawn coming straight to Baltazar as he spawns in, coming in with the axe. Stardeath just kind of chasing him all over the stage, moving back just a little bit. No connections until that one for this stock of Baltazar.
Ooh, and that was a really clutch weapon throw from Stardeath, because that was going to be the end of his stock if he didn't interrupt the attack that Baltazar was going for there. Neutral Sig dodged out of the way, but still Baltazar gets the punish, and he doesn't get the falling side air. Stardeath just walks all the way through him, knowing that he's going to go for that landing side air. Avoids the spacing of that move, and the side stick, just barely not punished.
One thing that we're not seeing from Stardeath's lance that we did see from Wesley earlier is the nair pressure. We're not seeing him regularly hit 2 nairs in a row. He'll hit 1, and then it seems like he doesn't quite know how to convert things off of that, but he does when he has sword in his hand. His flow on sword is so much better than his flow on lance.
Yeah, the lance not having a ton of nairs, but the sword, especially when he gets those weapon throws, has been leading into a ton of damage for him, and now he's at the point where he might be up 2 stocks over Baltazar. As an interesting dodge out of the way, but returns the favor with that dodge and gets some damage for his trouble. Recovery just barely KOs off the top, and Stardeath is up 3 stocks to 1 on Roland against Baltazar's Bryn, meaning that that's a lot of armor that Baltazar's going to have to chew through if he wants to be able to make this comeback possible.
He's got a sword in his hand, swaps over onto the lance to keep that weapon spawn away from Baltazar. One comes in, it's the spear, connects with the recovery, knocking out off the top. Even with all that defense, he had so much damage, and the recently buffed recovery, that's going to help him out a little bit as well.
Baltazar on the axe. Doesn't get the falling nair, gets downed instead. Stardeath jumping around, looking for opportunities to get in. Nice falling neutral air, catches Baltazar off of the ground. D-Light downer, doesn't get the recovery, but by using recovery, brings him far enough away to not get immediately punished. And Baltazar continues to struggle to find an opening with the axe against Stardeath as a side air hits, and I expect many more to follow.
Baltazar struggling to find any single hits at a time. Definitely doesn't really have any string options that he's nailing on Stardeath. It's like 1 hit at a time. There goes the spear toss. Stardeath gets over it. In comes the spawn. Baltazar picks up an axe. There's a D-Light into the nair, into a third nair, into a down air. This is like the most unanswered damage that we've seen coming out from Baltazar.
Yeah, it's excellent, but each one of those is a small neutral win, so it's just showing how much Baltazar is going to have to actually do as he goes forward this game. One misstep like that ground pound, and ground pound returned. Stardeath hits him with the lance, and that is it for Baltazar's game number 1. Stardeath moves up 1-0 in the set.
And Stardeath put out over 200 more damage compared to Baltazar. It was like 574 to 368.
Maps are banned out again, but Mammoth Fortress is going to be the stage for game number 2. Legends are exactly the same. Stardeath feeling very comfortable on the Roland, and I just noticed now taking out the defense stance, which is inherently at 8. Bring it down to 7 so they can have that little bit of extra movement speed to continue dominating Baltazar in the air in these lance and sword battles.
Yeah, that's something that Roland is definitely going to struggle in is the movement speed department and somewhat the strength department. Doesn't have a lot of that, but definitely movement speed, you're going to feel that the most on the regular.
Dares and dares, but so far nothing's starting. Balthazar playing around Stardeath's opening is much better this time. Getting a dare here and there, but that's about it. Tosses the weapon aside and Stardeath immediately begins to punish him for it. Oh, wow! Nice. That spot dodge was really nice. It's hard to spot dodge a spear in air.
That was good spot dodges for both of them. Like, they had really good timing, each spot dodging one of the other's attacks. Stardeath seems like he's respecting Balthazar a lot more this game.
Yeah.
Like, he's staying further away from him, putting a lot of range between those two, which is going to be difficult for him because he has a shorter range weapon compared to both the axe and the spear of Balthazar.
Ooh. As they're hitting. What a opening to this game. Stardeath just can't get the same amount of damage as he did before. Daylight Center puts him off stage. Oh! Delayed ground pound caught Balthazar accidentally dipping too low beneath the stage. And if he wanted to use that axe recovery, he had to go to the left. Excellent job from Stardeath. Ending that stock and then... Oh! Just barely managing to live. Side airing all the way down to the bottom of the stage. Is that going to be it? Dodge up. He gets it. Balthazar doesn't go for the ground pound.
He got his dodge back in time. Down air was definitely the safer option to go for to get the knockout, but the dodge came off of in-air cooldown just in time for Stardeath to come back, dodge straight up, and touch that wall to reset his jumps.
We begin the same song and dance as we saw in the last stock. Balthazar gets one downlight. Stardeath returns to the Nair. But that's all the damage that they can find on each other. Nair after Nair, they're just playing to make sure that they get as little as possible off these openings. Recovery comes through. That's it. Stardeath not opting to go over to the lance. Goes for the weapon throws instead. Balthazar is dodging up off of getting hit from the weapon throws. Although the right adjustment, I feel like, would be to dodge the weapon throw itself. Leave Stardeath without something to play with.
There he just dodged down after getting hit by the sword as Stardeath picks up the lance. Sidelight neutral air into the down air. You see the weapon toss was trying to cover that wall as best he could. Balthazar was a little bit too wide. Sidelight nair, waiting some time before he goes in with the third hit.
Yeah, I like that. He turned around and drifted to the left a little bit. Added some momentum onto his axe ground pound to catch Stardeath. Dodging down and to the left. Sidelight nair. Recovery could do it, but he waits for that ground pound and oh! Dodges right into the neutral stick from Stardeath.
It's the unarmed falling side air to hit Stardeath away. Grabs the axe. Big axe side air that's going to knock out the recovery. Even if he didn't knock out the recovery, that was going to be a knockout on the stock.
All right, Balthazar up again. Sayers, that could be it, though. Stardeath goes for the weapon throw and doesn't get the dive kick. Goes all the way to the other side of the stage. Didn't want to risk, yeah.
Wasn't quite on the mark with that weapon toss, but it was so close. And that's where Stardeath is actually going to feel a lot of the movement speed, is he's going to be really slow in the air. So as he's going under the stage, you saw how quickly Balthazar is able to rotate. He's able to use the dash to increase his movement speed, and also just having higher movement speed on the character is going to give him that rotation option that Stardeath is going to have to worry about.
Counter begins. Man, what a completely different pace to this matchup compared to the last one. We're now 4 minutes into the game, half the clock already gone, and Balthazar and Stardeath really haven't been getting... Oh, okay, the Nairs are coming in from Stardeath there. Nair to chase dodge directly up, Nair to weapon throw. Excellent creativity coming out from Stardeath there, and the ground pound hits. Chase dodges up to avoid the Nair. Can he get another one? Balthazar dodges all the way up and gets hit by the recovery. Stardeath getting a lot of damage in. Could potentially take a 2-0 lead in this set if he's able to take this stock. Balthazar has been in the lead marginally throughout the entirety of this game.
Balthazar's in the orange. Stardeath still in the yellow. Doesn't quite get the punish after the dodge.
Ooh, 2 nairs. That's a lot of damage. Not enough for a D-Light recovery on Sword to KO just yet, but now it might be. As that axe is sent flying into Sarah, catches some neutral lighting in place. Stardeath, does he go for the weapon throw? Okay. Picked up. Balthazar fights back unarmed. Sarah away once again. That's it.
Stardeath going up 2-0 in this best-of-5 set.
Yep. A very paced match from both of these players, but Stardeath now with 2-0, showing that Balthazar is going to have to change up how he's going to play against Stardeath's Roland if he wants to be able to get this reverse 3-0 possible. Sticking to the Bryn, will we go back to Mammoth Fortress for game number 3? Balthazar slowly banning out the maps, and I believe that we are. As long as he leaves it open, there's no reason why Stardeath wouldn't want to go back.
Yep, you're exactly right. I was hoping maybe for a small Brawlhaven wild pick in there.
Yeah.
But no, you're exactly right. We're going back to small Mammoth. Not a surprise whatsoever. If it is on the board, there's a good chance players are going for it.
2, 1, brawl.
Here we are. First weapon comes through. Stardeath goes for the uppercut. Punches him away. Kicks him away. Stardeath doesn't get the weapon, but does get the damage victory. Wow! The spot dodge is in the same exact spot in the air. Using no punishes. And the gravity cancel sidelight forces a reaction on Balthazar and then still manages to hit him. Sidelight Nair. Side airs. I like seeing more of the lance play from Stardeath. It feels like when Stardeath isn't on the sword, if he makes a connection with the lance, he gets that many more hits for his effort compared to the sword, where it's usually just a nair or a down air and then going back to the neutral game.
Yeah, his lance is definitely waking up, where he seemed to struggle a little bit with it earlier compared to his sword. Earlier, sword was definitely the stronger weapon by far, but now he's able to go between them much more fluidly, so it really doesn't matter what weapon he has. That way he's able to just completely deny a weapon spawn from Balthazar without worrying about the extra time it takes for juggling and then possibly being without a weapon.
Ooh, what? Try to get the reset with the downlight. Down air connects, another dare. Tosses the weapon straight up. Will he go for the recovery? He went for the downlight, but man, excellent punch from Balthazar. Sidelight Nair, side air again. Stardeath was so far ahead until those 4 hits connected. Alright, so sidelight recovery will do it. Just a raw lance recovery will do it as well, and that side air definitely okay. Not enough just yet.
That side air hit just high enough in the air, but it's going to be a dash into a neutral heavy. That big dump of force is going to come out right before he gets hit by the spear.
Yeah, and the weapon throw, as you said, the reason why it worked that way, like he was able to get the neutral to get out despite the weapon throw coming out, is because the weapon throw only like activated late enough to where the neutral sig already connected before it got interrupted. Unfortunate for Balthazar, but yeah, no point blank weapon throws in Brawlhalla anymore. Nair hits, no chase dodge up after that. In place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Both of them being extremely careful, not really wanting to get near one another.
Ooh. Look at the side air afterwards, but that time he does. Stardeath running away with this as long as he's on the lance. Dodges in place, kicks him away.
That was like 3 big whiff punishes off of Balthazar's missed axe hits that Stardeath just punished straight away. Put out solid damage, extending his lead. Balthazar's in the orange on his second stock. Stardeath is in the red. That side air gonna send him off screen. Ooh. Oh, Nair is gonna interrupt the ground pound that surely would have been the knockout.
Yeah, that was a really late Nair too. And he spot dodges the weapon throw into a gravity cancel downlight recovery. Oh, Stardeath. Just taking advantage of the impatience coming out from Balthazar here. Weapon throw into Nair, down air, doesn't get the recovery because of the spot dodge, but Stardeath is putting on the hurt. And Balthazar just jumping on that platform trying to think, okay, what do I need to do? Finally gets that side air and takes 1 stock. But man, if it takes Balthazar 3 minutes to take out a stock from Stardeath, the rest of these stocks are going to look grim. Stardeath's already up 2-0 against Balthazar here, on the verge of getting into top 4 into the lower bracket semifinals.
Stardeath definitely wanting to close this out here. Take the 3-0 after getting 0-3'd. Get the mental momentum in his favor. Is he going to be looking for a lance? There is a spawn on the field. Is he going to look to hit Balthazar away so he can safely pick it up? I think his whip punishes on axe are a lot better on lance than they are on sword right now.
I would absolutely agree. As we've been watching this past minute, he really actually didn't connect any sword attacks at all. Got hit by a downlight, and Balthazar with that sidelight goes for that interesting diagonal chase dodge up, gravity cancels downlight. Would have been great if he dodged away, but Stardeath dodged in. Ooh, and like you were talking about, right? It's just with punishes in general. As long as Stardeath has the lance, whether Balthazar's unarmed with the axe with the spear, he's fighting a lot more damage off. Downlight downer, doesn't get the reset. Recovery does clash, and that's the damage onto Balthazar. Sidelight Nair, that's something, but Balthazar's taking so much damage in the meantime.
Nice dare, hits the far edge of that cone. D-Light recovery. That's going to knock out off the top. Stardeath is going to take it 3-0. It was looking kind of a little bit shaky. He did have a major lead towards the end of that game, but it was starting to look a little bit shaky between these two.
Yeah, 619 damage to just below 400. Stardeath solidly in favor over Baltazar throughout the duration of that set. And if that 3-0 wasn't enough for you, there's another 3-0 in the lower bracket. Lopez over Emperor was a 3-0 in favor of Lopez. Will this keep on happening throughout the South America bracket? We're just going to have to wait and see, because at the moment, we've got Power Ranger versus Lopez coming up. And Power Ranger, while playing well, did get 3-0'd by Fiend. I'm excited to see if he holds on to